It should be activated.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully, and then Jabu Butera. Hopefully that should is sending the data.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll be able to see us as well on those platforms as well. Yes, I think we are.
We are all.
It shows
yes.
that we are on. Okay, so Black History Month. Jabu, how you been anyway? How you been?
Wonderful.
Yes.
Really good.
Yes.
Really, really good.
I can see you've been really good. So welcome to the show. This is a breakfast show. This is a business talk. Jabu Butera and Tendai Madume that take place every Friday. Somewhere in there about. Don't worry about the time. You're always gonna catch it back in on our YouTube channel, Facebook page, and the rest of it. We are very busy people, but we're trying to be on time. So this is the program where we discuss business from our communities and things like that. But moving on, Jabu, how are you?
Great.
Yes.
Yeah, we're excited and looking forward to have this conversation here today.
Yes.
Because there's something, it's Easter celebration, and there's a lot to celebrate.
Yes.
So much to celebrate that I wanted to be here so that we can talk about these celebrations. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yes. Thank you very much. And let's talk about Jabu before we dive into the conversation for today.
Yeah.
You had a bus?
Oh yeah, you want to talk about the big bus?
You had the bus?
DBI. Yeah, it's not mine.
I was like, I met someone who said, "Where's Jabu's bus?" Like, Jabu's got a bus?
I've got a bus. Yes.
Tell us about the bus.
I've got a double-decker bus.
Yes.
Yeah, again, this is one of the things to celebrate. And most of the time people ask that question, why Black History Month? So
Yes.
For those who are listening to us
Let me see if I can find it
know,
whilst we are.
so the Black History Month is in October. In England, we celebrate it in October. And in America, I think it's done in February. It's a moment. It's not saying we only celebrate Black history only in February, in October, and that's it. But also, it's not saying why not celebrating white history or Asian history and so on and so forth. So this debate has been going on for a while, and someone who comes with that comment will be kind of like just wanting to find out which the reason, saying why not celebrating you. So for me, I feel we do celebrate our history the whole year round, but because, again, showcasing the currency of what we have. Like, for example, here in Plymouth, in the southwest where we live, if you look at demographically, right, people from the black and brown origins, we only make about 2% of the population. So we are the minority.
Yes.
So when you're going to talk about the history, when you're going to talk about the rules, when you're going to talk about what is being talked more often, right? It's going to be what is the majority. Imagine being in a classroom, you're 100 children, and you're the only 2 black guys in there. The conversation is going to be around those 98 people, isn't it?
That's correct.
That's automatic. That's how it does. So for balancing or creating this equity, that's why universally it has been agreed, and especially England has been agreed, saying October we're going to be accentuating on or putting the spotlight on the black history.
Yes.
So that people get to know as well about this, because there's a lot of ignorance out there, there's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of misconception where come back like 10 years ago, even less than that, in Plymouth here, if someone from black or brown origins was driving a big Range Rover, the narrative was either you're a footballer or you're a drug dealer. That was the majority.
Give us a bit of a breakdown here. What was the thinking behind?
I think the big thinking is that one.
I live in Stonehouse. Someone in the corner in the garage will go like, yeah, it's probably a drug dealer because you are driving a big car and you're black. That's the narrative which was there, but that's not the truth.
Yes.
It's not everyone sees that way. So that's why it's really important to have this moment of celebrating and educating and sharing. But also this year, every year there's a change of like the main topic. This year is reclaiming the narrative, reclaiming our narrative. So that narrative, I'll just give an example, saying if you're driving a Range Rover and you're a black person or brown person, you're either a drug dealer or a footballer.
Yes.
We're not all footballers. We are not all drug dealers, and we want to reclaim
Yes,
that narrative.
I mean, just to comment on that narrative, I feel like, you know, you see so many Range Rovers in the street,
Yes.
ladies driving them,
Yes.
males of different culture or color, and people don't question how and when they make the money.
Yes.
So when
For
it
them
comes
it's
to
okay.
one black person, two black person driving this similar, as if we are in different economy, as if we cannot make life to that extent,
Yes.
as if we're expected not to make money to that level of living. I think that's
generate
yeah,
clear, clean
yeah,
money
yeah.
because of the color of skin.
Stereotyping, isn't it? That's the
those are the-
systematic
Yes,
racism. Eh?
that's the racism which exists. So someone sees you and they conclude already where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So you go to places. I've been places. I enter a place. They say you had the wrong door. This I was in London that time about 12 years ago. I turned up to this financial institution. There was a contract I was coming to secure. But I turned up and the security guard told me, no, that's the wrong entrance. I should use the one on the side, which is the delivery door.
Yeah.
So he thought I was either delivering something or was coming to clean the place.
Jesus.
In his head, it does not click a black person can walk in to sign a contract.
Yes.
Because that's what the narrative has been on this society. The narrative we've had for many years, it has been just changing lately.
Yes.
The narrative before, when you see a black person, someone from the black community, first narrative was slavery. When you go to schools, even up to now, there are some schools that are still teaching about slavery. Martin Luther King. I haven't any problem with the history of those that giant. They've been there before us. But if you tell a child who was born in 2000 about Martin Luther King or Rosa Parks,
As if there's no other. Yeah. Yes.
is that the whole history we have? Is that all what is the history about black people? No. So reclaiming the narrative is about telling our own history, the success and the positive impact we're doing in the society we live in, though we are still minority in this part of the world where we live.
Yes.
So yes, that's the purpose of this Black History Month. And
Yes.
it's very important that we continue educating, but also celebrating it because, again, it's in our blood. We love partying. Right?
Yes. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
If there's no party, don't invite me.
Yes. Let's have a look to see. I think I found something. Hopefully, our viewers can listen and also the video can play.
Yes.
Or we'll talk over it. We'll find out in a minute that, you know, during this past we are talking about. So I think it'd be good to see what exactly we are referring to and what happened, what inspired. There's a bit of
Give us a bit of a breakdown here. What was the thinking
I
behind?
think the big thinking is that one.
Yeah.
We're never gonna go behind this bus.
Yeah.
We're talking about we're celebrating.
Yes.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
celebrating the diverse in our
Yes.
community.
Yes.
But also it's about the history. When you're talking about like this bird here, this is what you call a Sankofa bird.
Okay.
A Sankofa bird, this is well known for many people knows the history, and then especially in the black community.
Yes.
And it comes from the Ghanaian and that region of history. They have a lot of that. So it's a bird moving forward, but carrying the history. So your egg, your history, your past
Yes.
is precious. It's an egg. You cannot just move forward. You have to carry your past, but still moving forward. Although big you are,
Yes.
but that's where you come from. You come from an egg.
And let's move on to this.
And then you move on, you have different people have made history. There are some who are alive, there's some who are not there anymore. So we have our sister here, she's still working for the NHS, the reform.
Yes.
The health sector has been a massive contributor, we've been contributors in the health sector.
Yes.
She's still working, she's the chair of the BME network and then for the hospital.
Yeah.
And then here you have
Gentleman here, yeah.
yes, that's Miller. He was a councillor in Plymouth in 45. There he was having a consultation with the community members. This is the 1940s. So these are black people who were very contributors. They built the Tyneside Light, or they built a lot of properties in Plymouth. And then you have Anne Wilkinson. She started the Plymouth Respect Festival. That's Anne Wilkinson. Yes. And then she was having a conversation with a gentleman who just landed in Plymouth as a Navy officer. So They were working together. And then you have Jack Leslie, famous Jack Leslie. Everyone knows about Jack Leslie. Plymouth Argyle.
Yes.
He was invited to England, to London, to play for England. But when he turned up, they didn't realize he was a black person.
And then
They sent him back.
send him back.
Never been called.
Yes.
So now here we're celebrating.
Now we're celebrating.
Yes.
Yes, we just watched one of you were trying to tell us more about the bus and the history and behind the black people who have landed in Plymouth so many years ago. We're talking about some years, yeah. And I know we're on a business talk. We're not here to really discuss the Black History Month itself. So the idea is just trying to paint a picture of the Black History Month. But the question is, how much are we contributing into society as black entrepreneurs to celebrate this particular month?
Thank you very much for that question. I think that's why we're having this conversation, and that's why every day we are fighting, and that's why we come to this radio show Friday to talk about business. The history is there. We have individuals from the black community who have been massive contributors to the economy, because the society is made from many parts, but economy is one of them. When there is poverty, economically poverty in the society, then you start being graded as first world, second world, third world. All is down to the index of the economy. It's down to the return per capita, your GDP and others, so we can use those terminology. But it's the income, or how much of finances, how much is the economy standing. So England is one of the countries where it's first world country, but it's made by people who are contributing economically. And the question is, how many black people from the black community are contribute to that economy?
Yes.
So these are simple questions people can ask themselves. And you can Google it, but also you can ask, do I know any who's that we can say they are in the known on the bigger picture? If someone walk with you on the street and just ask that first question, Tendai, do you know any black person you can say they've been really positive contributors in the economy of England? Are they known? So currently you can talk about many names, but the names which most of the time comes up when that question comes, it's always been our own young person from Plymouth.
Yeah.
Steve Bartlett.
Yes. I don't know if many people really knows Steve Bartlett. I would like to make a survey from Plymouth.
Yes.
They know this guy. Of course, he was born in Botswana. I think he was not really born here, but he's a son of an African mother. He was born in Africa, I think, and come and grew up here in Plymouth.
Yeah.
And he has become global.
Yes.
This guy has become big.
Yes.
You don't need to be in a certain space to start things.
No.
You just need to be creative and and be focused in what you do. Steve Bartlett has become, I'm sure now, he's one of the big boys in the game.
He is.
Tell us more about Steve Bartlett, just for a minute, to paint a picture about the sort of person he has become, but to also to realize he has become from Plymouth. Not he didn't come from LA. He's not from one of those fancy cities, London, whatever. Yeah. He's from Plymouth. So he
moved to Plymouth when he was 2 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
As you say very well, he was born in Botswana.
Yes.
And then he came to Plymouth and he grew up here in Plymouth. He went to primary school here. We've seen some of our boys, they know him.
Yeah.
He went to school here with them, and since 2 years old, he's Plymouthian. He does not know anything else. You cannot say he's from somewhere else. Today he's a multimillionaire, right? And the funny thing, he went to university. He went to universities in Manchester. When he went to Manchester, the funny story, he always talk about this. He could not stand the education, what was going on, because it was very strict and very restricting and the equal sense that he was not welcomed. He dropped out and he went to start his own company.
Is it?
Yes. So that was in 2014, not long ago.
Yes.
2014. This is when he started his journey of entrepreneurship. Today, most people know him because he's on Dragon's Den.
Yes.
He's an investor. He's a young, trendy investor.
That's correct.
Very smart. If you watch his the episode, most people, they'll go like, oh, I'm not going to invest in that. I'm not going to invest. He's always the one to say, listen,
I'll take a risk on this
I'll
one.
invest in you.
Yeah.
One, he sees all the barriers. He's like, no, you're not just ordinary.
Yes.
You've seen so much.
That's correct.
And I see in your eye, you are determined to make it. You don't have a questioning platform. You don't have an uncle and an auntie to bail you out.
That's correct.
And it's like, I've been there. So I'm going to invest in you. A lot of young people, they've been invested by Stephen
By
Barrett
Steve
on
Barrett.
that Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
And you've taken the gamble. You've lost somebody, but you've made
Yeah, of
somebody.
course. That's
But
business. Yes, he's
look,
willing to
he's
do
got
so.
a podcast. His podcast is played on British Airways.
Yes. No, it's the high. Yeah.
And it has become the most watched program on the airline, on the flight.
Is
They
it?
have many movies, they have many things.
But-
But the most watched program
It's
on British Airways
It's
after
the-
the survey 2021, the Diary of a CEO.
Diary of a
has
CEO.
been there. So
Yeah.
this gentleman is on that journey.
Yes.
He come from Africa. He's from the black community.
yes.
He's making a way path through. He's inspiring the next generation. If you see him driving a big Range Rover on the road, are you gonna say he's a footballer or a drug dealer?
Yeah.
That narrative have to be changed.
That's
But it's
correct.
because the story is being told, is being expressed. So if we see in our proverb, they say, once as long as the story of a lion is told by the hunter, it's always gonna be the hunter, the winner. So that's the case. So you have people who are telling the story, our own story, and it's someone else who's telling it. It won't work that way.
Yeah.
That's a big challenge.
That's correct.
So we need to be, that's why I said this Black History Month is very important.
It's very
Reclaiming the narrative.
narrative and rewriting the history.
Rewriting the history. But we don't rewrite just in a book.
No.
You rewrite the history like Stephen Barrett.
I see.
That's
Yes.
why entrepreneurship, business, for me, it's really, really the engine, a sea that will be able to change and rewrite this narrative.
Yeah, let's take it a bit home, Jabu.
Yes.
How do we change the narrative in our own city as we are in this? We are clearly in Plymouth.
Yes.
That's where we are all from.
Yes.
And we're talking about changing narrative. You have to change something. What's the narrative right now? For the one we are saying we must change our narrative. But what's the narrative? What are we saying we should change?
Yes.
What's on the ground? Because if we understand what's on the ground, then we'll be able to talk about the next 5 years,
Yes.
the next 2 years, the next 3 years, the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Right now, as we speak, from our black community in Plymouth, where we are. Sorry if you are listening for us across the globe, but we are based in Plymouth, so we only probably centered our focus on
Yes.
Plymouth because that's where we are from. So please, Jabu, tell us, where are we?
So maybe let me take just the two aspects of it, right? Demographically, representation. If you talk about the demographic representation, we're still on a low number, although it's growing with the presence of international students.
Yes.
But the students, they are not permanent residents. And again, student, young age, there's going to be a wave.
Yes.
There's a wave of coming and there's a wave of going.
Yes.
So this wave you're seeing is now because it's a new wave, young international student arriving. This scheme started 2 years ago.
Yes.
That's why you have a lot of individuals from the West Africa and some part of the East Africa and the Southern Africa being many in Plymouth. So demographically, we're still a small number. Now, that is the presence, like when you walk in a supermarket, when you walk in a barber shop or any other places, you start seeing more individuals from that community, although the numbers are still small. Secondly, I'm looking at the economical contribution. Like every city, like every places around the world, Plymouth is measured as well on its GDP contribution. What is the growth per individuals? Where are we standing in terms of economical healthiness? How is our, if you look on the index, Plymouth in terms of income per person, so we can see like the index which came out last month, I think, or 2 months, Plymouth has been voted the best city to live in the whole England.
Wow.
Because of the nature and everything, and people are friendly and so forth and so on. But also there is an income. So the wages and the amount of money individuals generate when they're in Plymouth is higher. But now my question is, how many people from our black community you can be saying they're among the role models, they're among the top names in the city? Who do you know who's among the million turnover, or a company owned by a black person that is in the million turnovers? That is a massive question. And if we don't have, how do we gonna get it? We talk about Stephen Bartlett, but he's not registered in Plymouth. You cannot say he's got a business in Plymouth. He comes from Plymouth.
Yeah, but yes, that's correct. Yes,
but you have bigger organization. You have double glazing companies across the road that are in million turnovers, income. I mean, generating over 2.8 million. Turnover. You have manufacturing industry. You have high-tech industries. You have digital media and so forth. I was with on a podcast recently with another studio, Fresh Air Studio. Just give a shout at them as well. They've just moved from a studio they were on on the other side here in Stonehouse. They've just gone down to city centre and expanding. They have a 3 or 2-story building.
Yes.
Very well equipped.
So
they are turning over millions. They have contracts in London and so forth. But how many?
Yeah.
Black-owned businesses, black or brown-owned businesses in Plymouth do we know?
I mean, I think, I don't know. Are we normally scared to really go for it? We are only opening smaller entrepreneurs, small enterprises. Is it because is that we're talking about stereotyping in terms of someone black person driving a black Range Rover because then is thought to be a black business or a black drug dealer or something? But we're talking about in business. We tend to open smaller venues. Is it a mindset? Is it cultural? What is it? Because we tend to open. I mean, there's a few now is opening businesses now in Plymouth, but they'll not be turning over what you just mentioned there.
The turnover is still low.
Yeah, turnover or below turnover, and the chance of them closing in 3 years time are even high.
Yes. So that's what we're having most of the time. Majority. I'm not saying it's all. Majority. And then this is why we always have this conversation, Tendai. We need to be honest to each other. That's why we're having this podcast on this radio.
Yeah.
Trying to say, let's start to climb higher. Think big.
Yes.
Because there's no limitation. Sometimes the limitation comes from ourselves.
That's correct. We limit ourselves.
Lack of role models, maybe, or other systemic barriers, but you can overcome them.
Yeah, you can.
First of all, is ourselves. How do we see yourself in the mirror? Stop the comparison.
I think that's the key. You've nailed the head there. I think black people, instead of celebrating each other, we compare and degrading two things. Compare and degrading. We start to think, why is he there, and why you? Not to ask how did you get there. Yeah. It's more like why are you there? And if you do a how, then maybe you might learn 1 or 2 things. But even if you don't want, I've seen black. I know I've had conversations with people. Yes. Instead of asking question like, how do you do A, B, C, D? How do you get to A, B, C, D? You're more asking about why are you there? And then I tell you my story, and you still don't buy it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so why are you asking? You're not asking to really benefit. No. You're asking to gossip. You're asking so you can give a narrative of what exactly why I'm there.
Yes.
So I think that's really our damaging for our community, to be honest.
This is where, and we talked about this before, the mental slavery. It's that mindset. It's our thinking, right? I'll turn up in your shop. Let's say I'm selling something at the shop. I have a shop, or I have a barber shop. I've even seen some people at a barber shop. You come to cut the hair. The price is there. It says £10 haircut, right? I turn up and I start, because I see it's my brother who's cutting the hair. Bro, I only have £6
already. Like how did we get there? How?
They never thought, say, oh, let me give it 12 quid.
Yeah.
So that I support you to go. No.
It's always under.
I'm looking to under. You take your product. I've seen, and I was in a conversation in the city with some decision makers. They were asking, what can we do to support the black and brown communities, businesses communities? And I was like, pay the price. Like our brother Stephen wrote the book, Stephen Ajay, let's give a shout at him. He wrote a book, Pay the Price. There is a price. Pay the right price. Start with there. So what has happened because of this mentality of undercutting and things have to be cheaper? We don't do things on a high standard. That's the same with small businesses. We don't do big businesses. What you happen ending, you're selling your product low cost.
Anyway, Jab, I think we'll be here all day, my friend. Our time is up. I think we should continue the conversation because I feel, right, for a very good example, we've been sitting here for almost 3 years.
Yes.
Having this similar conversation.
Yes.
And I don't think our people actually embrace this podcast, embrace our time we have spent. And if I'm telling you, if we had to compare the same time which we have done this show from our white counterparts, this podcast or this particular show will be the biggest show in the city.
Would have. But we're not buying from ourselves. That's what I'm talking about. We need to have that conversation between ourselves first. Before we start saying it's someone else's fault.
Yes.
Ourselves, we need to.
That's correct.
You need to know who you are. Start from there. Who are you? You're not made by the car or the man you have. Who are you? And that value of who you are as a black person will make you standing.
That's correct.
And that's why we do the Black History Celebration.
Yes.
It's not about beating on our chest, I am the greatest. No. Your greatest come from your action when you know who you are.
That's correct.
So when you go into entrepreneurship, when you go into business, when you go to income generating or anything to elevate the society you live in.
Give us a bit of a breakdown here. What was the thinking behind
I think the big thinking is that we're never gonna
supporting each other and open and giving a chance all the time.
Yeah.
And bring that Ubuntu. It's not the I, it's a we.
It's a we. Yes.
It's a we. You are not there on your own. You are with the rest.
Yes.
So let's not continue that conversation of I'll do my thing. It'll be me and I. No. Again, this platform, as we say, we're open for everyone. And we invite.
That's correct.
Whoever comes, we have seen so many times. Otenda, can I have a show? Come.
Yeah, come. Yeah.
If you fail, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I did not close the door.
No.
Can we have that in everywhere?
Yeah.
And if you turn into a place, someone is doing their cutting their hair or they're selling their product, don't undercut the price. Support them.
That's correct.
Pay
whatever
price.
is the price. Thank you very much, Jabu. Appreciate your time as usual, standard, and you always give us this high level of information and support. And listen, you always done this. Well, we have always done this for years now. Coming here and have a conversation around how we can develop our city. It makes it good for our city. That's our hope. That's our wish. Sometimes things don't really go the way you hope for in life. No. It happens. Yeah. But we have had this conversation time after time and trying to encourage our people. If you are listening to us, please, all you can do for us, do us a favor, like, share, and tell a friend that Tendai and Jabu are always live on a Friday. You can learn one or two things from our conversation. Yeah. We're not saying we are the gurus of it, but I'm sure through conversation you learn.
Yes.
Any last words, Jabu?
Well, not last word, also I just want to share information because all this, again, through all this month of October, there's so many activities. I think on the screen people are watching, they can see we have already added one of our brother with their organization called Give Back. Yeah. Walid and Hadu, they're always pushing to tell the story because these artists, they are more in the art and films and screens, small short films. You have artists from, it's everything, artists from the black community. They won't get a platform to express themselves on it easily. Their film is not on the front. It's not the Netflix killer. No. They've done so much work. But even when you put it, it's only 2 or 3 people turn up. Yeah. And it does not sell. No. So was our brother Patrice Nyambam. He put on a massive show. It was at the Theatre Royal Plymouth here. How many black people turn up? 2. Yeah. I was on the other one on 2 days ago. It was about 3 of us. And I'm like, we're not buying from each other. But this one is out there. There's a film with Give Back, which is going to be at University of Plymouth, 18th of October. But also we have many activities going. We have the cooking, we have the sport. Nadia K, I give a shout out to Nadia as well. fitness instructor, because your health is really important.
Yes.
You need to do exercise
Life
and
is
fitness.
fitness.
We need to win in everything, not just doing this. So there's so many activities, but if you want to know more about it, just go on the website.
Yes.
Black History Plymouth. You'll find all the calendar is there.
Yes.
blackhistoryplymouth.co.uk.
blackhistoryplymouth.co.uk.
And then jump on the bus. There is a bus, the double-decker bus,
Double-decker
which is
bus,
telling
yes.
history of Plymouth. It's the first double-decker bus in the whole England that is wrapped saying Black history,
Yeah.
celebrating the diverse communities.
That's correct.
The first one in the whole England happening here in Plymouth.
In Plymouth.
And we've done it together.
It's wonderful. Well done. Thank you very much, Abu Butera. As usual, I can't say thank you enough. I shall see you again here next week. Please don't forget, tell a friend that Business Talk, Tendai Madume and Abu Butera always takes place here on a Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't do what I won't do. I'm not sure what that is, but stay blessed. I shall see you soon. Take care.